Hello. After having actually an okay day mixed in with some shitty stuff at the end, I had a nice surprise waiting for me when I got home. So I was just at the supermarket with my son, and sometimes you just get like five things hit you at once, like this thing's coming, this thing's changed, this you need to do this. I had about like five things come onto my phone as I walked out the supermarket, and added like a whole heap of stress onto my life. But as I came home and I looked in the mailbox, a package was waiting for me, which is something I've been waiting for about exactly a month. Today is the 6th of June, and I think I ordered it around the 4th of May. And what can we see? I covered up my name and the address because, Post NL, and you can see it's in euros, 61.96 euros, which isn't cheap at all. This was sent from Europe, obviously. Oh, this is the Netherlands. I've talked about expecting this, but I haven't said what it is. Or Post NL. It's always exciting getting packages from other countries. Well, it is for me. So let's have it open it up. This is CDs, by the way. Okay, packaging. Let's see the other piece. I'm going to give away because it says my name and address on there as well. But you can see here from Inside Out, and maybe you know Inside Out, maybe you don't. Inside Out is a subsidiary label of Century Media, I think. And I don't know exactly, but from what I've seen, I think Inside Out is just metal, or different forms of heavy metal music, and Inside Out is based in Germany, or no, Century Media, or Inside Out, like I said, part of Century Media, Dortmund in Germany. Oh yes, I did. I ordered on the 5th of May. There we go. And today's the 6th of June. So it took almost exactly a month to go from Germany to New Zealand. Now, I don't know what you think of that, because I know a lot of people who maybe watch this are from the US or from North America and other parts of Western Europe, maybe, or not just Western Europe, Europe in general. And I've seen like on lots of things like Amazon, you can get same day delivery or next day delivery, which just blows my mind because nothing is same day delivery here. And obviously, if you're ordering anything from overseas, even if you pay a huge premium, you're still going to be waiting weeks generally, especially post-COVID. Enough of me talking. What exactly did I order? I ordered 2 albums by a band I would imagine most people watching this have never heard of, but they are called, now I don't even know how to pronounce them, OU. Oh? Oh? This is their first album, 1. This is their second album, 2, Frailty, which just came out end of April 28th, I think it was released. Who and what are they? They are a Chinese prog metal band. That's really the only way you could describe them, because that's what they are. Let's see if this describes them a little better. One-of-a-kind progressive metal from Beijing, China, with female vocals by a highly talented singer Lin Wu, who brings with her a rich blend of raspy, blues-esque posture counterbalanced, brilliantly powerful soaring singing. So yeah, it's a 4-piece band. The singer, like I said there, Lin, I think that's her on the front cover. Might not be here. Probably is though. The bassist and guitarist are both Chinese, and the drummer is American. His name is Anthony Vanacore. And how did I find out about these guys? Well, actually, I'll show you this sticker because this will tell you. On the second album, the new and mesmerizing sophomore album of the Chinese progressive metal band IU, produced, mixed, and featured by the mastermind Devin Townsend. Devin Townsend is a name I talk about a lot. Devin Townsend is an artist who has kind of featured heavily in my lives and my musical evolution, shall we say, without trying to sound too pretentious, over the last 25 years. Someone whose albums has just kind of been a constant in my life. The first album I ever heard of him was Ocean Machine, back in about 2001. Terrier, heard at the same time. And since then, I've kind of followed, and he's been kind of a mainstay in my musical listening. And that's not to say I've loved everything he's done in those 20-some years. There's things I like he's done more than others, but he's generally someone who has a certain quality that I can expect. It's a bit dirty there. It's a hair. It's one of my wife's hairs. I can expect that his music he produces is going to be good. He makes himself. And if he puts his stamp of approval on a band, especially going to the extent of producing their album, then it's a big tick of approval in my mind. It's like, I'm sure you understand what I mean. There's, certain people who you respect, artists, say, I really like this thing and I like this so much that I want to work with them. Then you think, well, then that must be pretty good then if this guy likes it. And that's kind of how I feel about when Devin Townsend recommends or works with something. Now I'm still not going to find something to cut the plastic with, which of course I can't. Here, I'm going to use this. Look what I'm going to use. This might not work though. Here's this guy. He's like a mini Gundam, and he's got like a pike. So let's see if that works, because I can't find any kind of sharp thing in this room. So like I said, I ordered this directly off the Inside Out store, which is based in Germany and Europe, and therefore it takes a long time to get here. Now, of course, if there was options to order that somewhere closer to New Zealand, such as Australia, or maybe even the west coast of the US, then I would have done that, but it didn't seem like there was such an option. And that is kind of one of the constant, constant things you've got to deal with being a music collector down here, is that the things that are available in the stores, even these are new, and I obviously don't show new music that much on this channel, but if you want to buy new music, there are not many stores that sell it, and the ones that do sell it have quite a limited range available, and so therefore you're having to order stuff online, which I've talked about before, and invariably you're either ordering it from America, or more commonly, because a lot of the stuff I listen to is kind of electronic music, which is produced in Europe, or metal, which seems to come with European labels. And so therefore I'm having to order stuff from Europe, and that's literally the other side of the world, and you're having to pay a lot of money to get it shipped here, and it takes a lot of time, which is just frustrating, especially in this day and age where we kind of come to expect everything to be instantaneous, and having to wait a month to get something shipped here is obviously, if you want something, you do that, but it's sometimes a little bit frustrating. So anyway, let's have a look inside. I imagine this is going to be quite simple because they're not a big time band. This first album was produced by Chris, sorry, that's not really focusing, is it? Badami, does it say? That's not, you can't really read that, can you? And Anthony Vanacore, who is the drummer. And here we have the booklet. They have both the Chinese and the, what do they call that? Pinyin, I think is with the kind of the Romanized Chinese in, you know what I mean? Instead of using the actual, what do they call that? Kanji in Japanese, Hanja in Korean. I don't know what Chinese call their own actual language. this written script. But when you Romanize it, I think they call it pinyin. Ji bai kai wai nan ji lai. I actually studied a little bit of Chinese about 5 years ago. Before I was living overseas and before I was coming back to New Zealand, I was trying to upskill because I knew I was going to be having to find a new job. And one of the ideas, I didn't want to, not that I didn't want to, I couldn't afford to go and study somewhere or, a class or a course. So I thought, well, I have to teach myself. And I went through a lot of free courses, like teaching myself the more advanced elements of Microsoft Excel and different kinds of database software. And then also I thought I'll give Chinese a try. And so I used different free online courses to teach myself Chinese. And I actually, didn't get past very elementary level, but I was actually quite enjoying studying it. It wasn't as difficult as you would imagine it is. The writing system is difficult, of course, but I'd had some experience having lived in Japan. They use elements of Chinese writing, not entirely, but elements. And just learning languages in general. I learned languages at university, and I've lived in other countries where I had to speak other languages, so I had some experience. And I feel if I'd stuck with Chinese, I probably would have got somewhere, but I didn't. I got to New Zealand and got a job that had no need for Chinese whatsoever. Not that I would have been able to, yeah. I'm not delusional enough to imagine I'd be able to teach myself to a level where I could actually use it in a job. It was just kind of, I wanted to feel like I was doing something to prepare for my future. So there's no kind of artwork at all beyond that kind of pinkish lilac color. So it was produced by Anthony Vanacore, Chris Bardamy, engineered by Anthony Vanacore and Chao Shang Wu, Chris Ku Tong Xing Xingxiang. Mixed in New Jersey, mastered in Nashville, Tennessee. But I imagine it was recorded in China Music House, which doesn't say where that is, but I will imagine that's China. Now, after Devin Townsend recommended these guys about 2 months ago, I went on to Spotify and listened to the ones. Now, he's actually featured on one of the songs on their new album. He's a guest, he actually adds some vocals to it. And to be honest, out of all the songs I've listened to of theirs, I'd say that song is the least interesting. It's kind of, it's not bad or anything at all, but it's not as interesting as all the other ones. I really liked the stuff I heard of theirs on both the first and second album. To the extent that I kind of was listening to it obsessively for a few weeks there. And I thought, well, they're a new band, a very small band, they're not known at all. And bands in that kind of situation, I always like to try to support. And I especially like the idea of music coming from different parts of the world. That kind of metal is often seen as this kind of international brotherhood or whatever, or this kind of unity, even more so than other kinds of music, I feel, where nowadays I'm older and it's not as much, but when I was younger and I used to wear like metal t-shirts, and I still do have some metal t-shirts, or I've got like an Opeth hoodie or a Dillinger Escape Plan hoodie, and sometimes you wear them, and sometimes you'll be walking down the street and some guy will look at you and he'll kind of give you a smile or a head nod, or even sometimes, the devil horns. It's just kind of like, do you understand what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, if you see another metalhead, not that I even really class myself as a metalhead because I hate that phrase, but if you see someone else who likes the kind of music you like that's relatively rare, you kind of feel a kind of connection to them in some way. And that's how I feel about bands making music. If there's a band out there that I really like and they're from kind of a smaller, less known market, I want to support them. And I think these guys really are quite original. Apart from singing in Chinese and having a female vocalist, their music is quite hard to describe. You know, it's prog metal, but there's something about it that's quite. I listen to a lot of prog metal, and you hear a lot of recommendations. Like, for example, the band Periphery. I heard them recommended a lot, and this other one called Tesseract. And I'll listen to them, and yeah, they're okay, but kind of it gets a bit samey for me. That kind of very technical prog metal, to the point that you kind of listen to it and feel a bit cold. You know, think like, well, there's nothing. It's not really doing anything for me at all here. And so when I hear a band that does do something for me that really kind of stands out in a truly original way, it's kind of, you know, like knocks your socks off a bit, because you are so used to having things that aren't like that. Now let's see, is there going to be any artwork in here? No, it's just going to be the same, but it's just a white theme this time instead of purple, pink. Really keeping it simple, aren't they? All lyrics written by Lin Wu. All music composed by O. Wonder where they recorded it. Jigog recorded in Bali, Indonesia. That's interesting. Okay. Dongxi Studios in Beijing. And Hai Shi Chuan Mei Studio in Beijing. If I was to recommend some songs for you to listen to, I would say from the first album, this is all available on YouTube or Spotify, the song Mountain, track 3. I really like that song. And on this one, I particularly like the song Frailty, track 1. Now, I haven't listened to I've listened to all of this album a lot. I listened to the 2 kind of singles they released from this album, the one with Devin Townsend, which was called Purge, and Frailty, because I kind of didn't want to overplay that one, because I wanted to hear it more fresh. So I can't say as much about the new album as I can about their first album, but I'm excited to listen to them, and I'm glad that they came, because when you're ordering from overseas, especially so far away, you can never guarantee it's going to turn up. Or it could turn up here and get stolen off your bloody front doorstep, because there's a lot of cretins out there at the moment. The economy isn't doing well in most places, and therefore there is a bit of a upturn in, shall we say, petty crime. Crime in general. Not even petty crime, serious crime as well. But yeah, something different, new. Because actually I did go out today and look around some secondhand shops, and I found absolutely nothing. Not even close to finding something. You know, and some of those days you go out, it's just there's zilch. And when I say zilch, there's plenty of CDs there, stacks and stacks of them, but it's all just not my kind of thing at all. And so I end up driving around most of the day from shop to shop and just finding nothing. It's a little bit disheartening, you know. And so to get home and find these is good. Anyway, I feel I've got more to say about them, but I can't think what to say. So maybe after I listen to them, I'll post another video and go more in depth. Not that I think anyone will really be interested, but maybe I want to talk about them. So yeah. O, the band O. Is it O? O-U. How would you pronounce O-U? U? O? I'm pretty sure it's just O. I'm pretty sure that I saw an interview, one of them said pronounced O. Anyway, thank you for watching.